Hello friends, welcome to my channel again. In this video we are going to continue our previous video in which we left the method of by parts to prove the Euler's factorial integral here. So we are going to continue it. So without wasting time, let us discuss what is actually the method of by parts. Actually this is a method of integration and how it works is present over here. Let me explain you. Actually, suppose we are doing an integral of two functions simultaneously, u let be the first and let be the second function, both being the functions of x only, and let the integral be from a to b. Then the overall integration here of these two functions can be written in this form as u, or let me talk in the first function form and second function form, that would be easy for us. Then the overall integral here can be written as first function into integral of second function and limits from a to b, and minus of differentiation of first function, integral of second function, overall integral of this function written over here from a to b. Okay, so this is how the method of by parts work. I'm not going to prove you how the method of by parts work because it's a different thing what we are going to deal now. Actually we are going to deal with this, and discussing method of by parts would be a wasting of time for this video, so we would discuss it in another video. Okay, so continuing with this formula and or telling us that this is known to us, and continuing it further, we get to the integration of this over here. We in this Euler's factorial integral we have two functions, x raised to the power n and e raised to the power minus x. We take e raised to the power minus x as second function and first function as x raised to the power n, because you can see here the first function is going to be differentiated and second function as integrated, and this we take the integral as we take the function whose integration is to be done as easy as most, and differentiation whose differential is going to be as easy as most. Okay, and you can also observe that the n factorial will come from this equation only if we take first function as x raised to the power n, so that its differentiation can be done. Now you must be satisfied with my logic, and putting the values of first function and second function over here, x raised to the power n, integral minus of e raised to the power minus x, limits over here, and differentiation n into x raised to the power n minus 1, and again the integral over here and the limits, integral. So continuing to our next page, we are up to this equation over here. We have already discussed this equation up to here, and we are now to prove that this first thing over here, this first function minus of x raised to the power and e raised to the power minus x is going to be 0, as I have written like 0. This is going to be 0, and this is going to be further elaborated, so wait and watch. So here we have to put the limits in this function, that is at x is equal to infinity and x is equal to 0. So when x is equal to 0, then the x raised to the power n over e raised to the power x is going to be 0, because e raised to the power x is 1 at x is equal to 0, and x raised to the power n is 0 at x is equal to 0. So it is the most basic thing to understand. Problem comes when x approaches infinity, where we have to calculate the limits. So at x approaches infinity, the function x raised to the power n over e raised to the power x goes up like infinity over infinity, and this is one of the 7 determined form or indeterminate form which we talk about, in which we talk about the limits. So actually its limits goes to 0 by LH rule, which I'm going to show you. If you know the LH rule, then it's very easy for you to calculate this limit. Or even if you know the graphs of x raised to the power n and e raised to the power x, you feel it like at x approaches infinity, e raised to the power x is going to be much bigger than x raised to the power n. So of course this is going to be 0. If denominator is going to be very large, then of course the fraction is going to be 0. And this is what happens. And by LH rule, of course, you can differentiate the numerator and denominator. This is how LH rule works. And of course I can't show you the proof of LH rule right now. So differentiating the upper term and lower term, we get n into x raised to the power n minus 1, and differentiation of e raised to the power x is as e raised to the power x, it remains the same. Again differentiating it, because still the indeterminate form exists of infinity over infinity, we differentiate it again, and until the upper numerator's x value does not get vanished, until it doesn't get vanished, our indeterminate form will not vanish. So we differentiate the numerator and denominator to the nth time. Then if we differentiate it to the nth time, then we will get up to this expression over here, as which we call the numerator as n factorial, n into n minus 1 up to 1. And of course we will come up to the limit x approaches infinity, n factorial over e raised to the power x, and the upper term is when constant, and the lower term e raised to the power x which goes to infinity, we can say that this value approaches 0. I think you must have understand it, and if not, then you must Google it, because LH rule, knowing LH rule is very important to understand this concept. Moving further, I have already shown you how putting the values of x approaches infinity and x equal to 0 shows that this value over here is 0. Now coming up to this equation here, I can write this expression as n into I can write this expression as over here in this form. You can observe the similarities. Here it is x raised to the power n, here it is x raised to the power n minus 1, and here it is n. You see that if I accept it as an identity, then I can apply the same formula here to this equation only, and write it into a new form over here as n into n minus 1, and taking or just replacing n minus 1 to n, like in this equation. If we consider this as our original function, of which we have to calculate the integral, then I can write it as over here, and over like n is present over here. And if we continue doing this process of putting of dividing this integral into subparts, if I continue dividing this integral into subparts, I can approach up to this value where the power of x decreases and the constant part over here x increases. Okay, and so ultimately we will obtain our equation will obtain up to here, where x is equal x raised to the power 1 is obtained over here. And again applying the same concept, or say the identity, we can go to this equation where power of x approaches 0 here and its value goes to 1, and here we obtain the value n factorial as constant. So we are up to that here it is n factorial, and here we have proved that this is 1. So we are only doing integral from 0 to infinity of e raised to the power minus x dx. So we are almost done, or say we are done, because in my previous video I have already proved that this integral is present over here is 1, or it's not so hard. I can prove it once more, because the integral of e raised to the power minus x is minus of e raised to the power minus x, and putting the limits infinity and 0, we can at infinity it is 0, and at 0 this function is minus 1, so I can write it at 0 minus of minus 1, which is 1. So I can prove, I have proved that this integral is equal to n factorial, and hence we are done. And by parts, like the video if you like it, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.